In a world full of noise, confusion, and constant pressure, we are all searching for one thing: clarity. What if the answers you're looking for have already been written thousands of years ago? What if there is a guide that teaches you how to live, how to fight pain, and how to stay peaceful no matter what happens? That guide is the Bhagavad Gita, and today, in the next few minutes, you will discover the real truth of life. The Gita is not a religious book, it is a science of living. It teaches the mind how to face challenges, how to make decisions, how to control emotions, and how to find peace inside chaos. This is the message Krishna gave to Arjuna, and this message is for every human being today. Let's uncover the 5 life-changing lessons we all need.
The Bhagavad Gita begins by telling us something incredibly powerful. If you learn to control your mind, you control your life. And if you do not learn this, the mind will control you, drag you, manipulate you, and eventually destroy your peace. Krishna says, the mind is your best friend and also your worst enemy. These are not just poetic words. They are the deepest psychological truth ever spoken. Every single moment of our life, every choice, every thought, every reaction is shaped by our mind. Yet we spend years studying subjects, earning certificates, building careers, chasing relationships, but very few of us ever learn how to master our own mind. Think about it for a moment. The biggest battles we fight are not outside, with people, with circumstances, with society. The biggest battles are always inside, with doubt, fear, confusion, anger, anxiety, and insecurity. We lose sleep not because outside noise is loud, but because the noise inside our mind never stops. We get tired not because life is hard, but because the mind keeps replaying painful memories, negative thoughts, and imaginary worries that have not even happened yet. The truth is simple. The mind can either be your most beautiful servant or your most dangerous master. A trained mind becomes a source of clarity, confidence, and courage. An untrained mind becomes a source of suffering, panic, and chaos. If we don't learn to control our mind will control us, and once it controls us, it decides our emotions, our peace, and our destiny. Most people today are not living a life, they are reacting to life. Something bad happens, and the mind collapses. Someone criticizes them, and the mind starts drowning in insecurity. A small failure, and the mind whispers, "You're not good enough." A relationship ends, and the mind screams, "Life is over." Krishna teaches Arjuna that the mind can create heaven in hell or hell in heaven. You can have wealth, success, and people who love you, yet still feel empty if your mind is not disciplined. And you can have very little, but live with joy and strength if your mind is balanced. Real happiness does not come from cars, phones, houses, status, validation, or achievements. These things create excitement for a moment, not peace. Happiness is an internal state produced by a disciplined inner world, not by external possessions. Look at people around you. Some are rich but stressed. Some are famous but depressed. Some look perfect on social media but broken inside. Why? Because the mind is not controlled. You can win the world and still lose yourself. But if you master yourself, nothing in the world can defeat you. Krishna says that the mind is like a wild horse. If you let it run uncontrolled, it will throw you to the ground and injure you. But if you learn to hold the reins, that same horse can take you wherever you want in life. So, how do we control the mind? Krishna gives three powerful tools: meditation, focus, and self-discipline. Meditation is not about closing your eyes and escaping reality. Meditation is about training the mind to stay steady instead of jumping from thought to thought like a restless monkey. When you meditate, you are telling your mind, "I am the master, you are not." Even 10 minutes every morning can transform the entire day. The mind becomes clearer, the heart becomes calmer, and decisions become wiser. The second tool is focus, learning to direct your mental energy toward what truly matters instead of wasting it on gossip, jealousy, comparison, scrolling, and meaningless distractions. If you want to see how powerful the mind is, look at a magnifying glass. When sunlight falls scattered, it cannot burn anything. But when focus is applied, the same light becomes fire. That is the power of focused attention. A focused mind can achieve miracles. A distracted mind achieves nothing. The third tool is self-discipline. Discipline means doing what is right even when it is uncomfortable. Discipline means showing up every day, even when motivation is low. Discipline means choosing long-term growth over short-term pleasure. Discipline is not punishment, it is self-respect. A disciplined mind becomes an unshakable warrior who does not break under pressure. The world respects discipline because discipline creates greatness. Ask yourself honestly, how many times has your mind stopped you from trying something new because of fear? How many opportunities have you lost because your mind whispered, "What if you fail?" How many nights have you wasted worrying about things that never happened? How many times has your mind created pain by repeating old memories? This is how the mind controls us. It pulls us back when we try to move forward. It magnifies problems and minimizes strengths. That is why Krishna tells Arjuna, "Conquer the mind, and you conquer the world." The journey begins when we stop running away from our thoughts and start observing them. When we become conscious of our thinking patterns, we regain the power to change them. You are not your thoughts. You are the observer of your thoughts. And once you understand that, the mind becomes silent and peace begins. Remember this truth: you cannot control the world, but you can control your mind. You cannot control what others say, but you can control how you respond to it. You cannot control everything that happens to you, but you can control what you make of it. That is real power. That is inner strength. That is freedom. So choose today to become the master of your mind. Train it, discipline it, strengthen it. Because the moment you control your mind, you become unstoppable. You stop living like a victim and rise like a warrior. You stop breaking under pressure and start shining through darkness. Your mind becomes your greatest friend, your strongest protector, and your most loyal companion. And on that day, peace is not something you search for. Peace becomes who you are.
One of the most powerful teachings in the Bhagavad Gita is this: you have the right to perform your duties, but not to the results. Krishna tells Arjuna that life becomes heavy, painful, and stressful when we attach ourselves to outcomes instead of committing ourselves to action. We suffer not because we work hard, but because we constantly worry about what will happen after the work is done. We are always thinking, what if I fail? What will people say? What if things don't go the way I planned? What if I'm not good enough? These thoughts chain the mind, paralyze action, and steal confidence. Krishna's teaching is simple. Do your duty with full sincerity, effort, and honesty, and leave the results to the universe.
When we attach our happiness to outcomes, life becomes a roller coaster. Success makes us arrogant. Failure breaks us. Praise inflates us. Criticism destroys us. But when we detach from results, we experience something magical: freedom. Fear disappears, stress disappears, and true confidence begins to grow from within. We stop working to impress others and start working to express our true potential. Think about how much of your life has been ruled by fear of outcomes. Many dreams die before they are born because people think, "What if it doesn't work?" So they never try. Many talents are wasted because fear whispers, "What will others think?" Many beautiful relationships break because ego shouts, "What if I get hurt again?" This attachment to results becomes the jail that keeps us trapped inside a life smaller than what we are truly capable of living. Krishna is telling us to break those chains. Action is your responsibility. Outcome is not. You control your effort, not success. You control your discipline, not the rewards. The world may not always respond the way you expect, but that is not failure. The only real failure is not trying wholeheartedly. When we learn to separate action from expectation, we become fearless. We do our work with full heart, full strength, and full honesty, not because of what we will get, but because it is the right thing to do. Imagine a farmer planting seeds. He plows the land, nurtures the soil, waters the field, and protects it from storms and heat. That is his duty. But he cannot control the rain. He cannot control the sunshine. He cannot control the weather. He cannot force the seed to become a tree overnight. But he still works with patience and faith. This is karma yoga, the yoga of disciplined action without attachment. He does not stop planting because he is uncertain. He does not sit idle thinking, "What if the crop fails?" He continues because that is his purpose. Life works exactly the same way. You cannot control the behavior of others. You cannot control the timing of success. You cannot control every situation, but you can control your actions, your character, your integrity, your effort, your attitude. And when you master those, life eventually rewards you in ways you never imagined. Sometimes not immediately, but always eventually. Results come when the time is right, but action must come now. Look at the world around you. Every great person you admire succeeded because they acted without fear. They failed again and again, but they kept moving. They did not give up when results didn't appear immediately. They did not stop when others doubted them. They focused on effort, not outcome. That is why they became legends. When you detach from results, you become unstoppable. There is no fear left to control you. Attachment makes the mind restless. Detachment makes the mind powerful. Attachment creates stress. Detachment creates peace. Attachment makes you emotional and reactive. Detachment makes you calm and wise. When you attach your happiness to results, you suffer. But when you attach your happiness to effort, you grow, no matter what the result is. Think about the times in your life when you were truly happy. Moments when you were completely absorbed in something you loved. Maybe you were singing, drawing, playing, learning something, building something, helping someone. In those moments, you were not thinking about outcomes. You were just present, fully alive, flowing with life. That is real joy. That is real success. The Gita tells us to bring that mindset into everything we do. Krishna says, "Victory and defeat, pleasure and pain, gain and loss, treat them all as equal. Life will not always go your way. Sometimes the world will appreciate your efforts, sometimes it won't. Sometimes your plans will succeed, sometimes they will break. Sometimes people will support you, sometimes they will walk away. But none of these things should decide your inner peace. If you stay balanced in both success and failure, you become a warrior of life, not a victim of circumstances." When we detach from results, something extraordinary happens. We start giving our best. We stop wasting energy worrying about the future and put all our strength into the present moment. The mind becomes focused, the heart becomes fearless, the soul becomes powerful. And ironically, the moment we stop obsessing about outcomes, we start achieving better outcomes, because clarity replaces confusion, courage replaces fear, and passion replaces hesitation. Let this truth sink deeply. You are responsible for effort, not success. You are responsible for intention, not approval. You are responsible for action, not reward. You are responsible for progress, not perfection. So, do your duty with love, without fear, without anxiety, without worry. Work because you want to grow, learn, contribute, serve, improve, and fulfill your purpose, not because you crave validation or applause. Never allow your peace to depend on things outside your control. Trust the timing of life. Trust the process. Trust the universe. Trust God. And remember, when you detach from results, you become truly free. When you stop living for outcomes, you start living for meaning. When you remove fear, confidence emerges. When you stop expecting, you stop suffering. When you give your best without worry, life opens doors that once felt impossible. Work with full heart, act with full strength, then let go. What is meant for you will come. What is not meant will pass. Because in the end, success is not the result. Success is the courage to act without fear.
One of the most universal and unshakable truths Krishna reveals in the Bhagavad Gita is this: everything in life is temporary. Nothing in this world stays the same forever. Not pain, not joy, not failure, not success, not people, not circumstances, not even our own bodies. Everything is constantly changing, evolving, rising, or fading. The problem is that we suffer because we expect things to remain the way they are. We cling to moments, to people, to achievements, to comfort, to identities. And when life inevitably shifts, we break. Look around you. The world you see today is not the world you saw 10 years ago. You are not the same person you once were. Your priorities have changed, your dreams have changed, your challenges have changed, your relationships have changed. Everything that once felt permanent has become memory. This is the law of the universe. Nothing stays forever. The seasons change, the weather changes, tides rise and fall, life begins and ends. Yet the human mind refuses to accept change. We hold on tightly and wonder why letting go hurts. Krishna teaches Arjuna that wise people do not break when difficulties come, and they do not become arrogant when success arrives. They remain balanced, calm, steady, unshaken. Why? Because they know that both the good and the bad are temporary visitors. Pain is not permanent. Happiness is not permanent. Failure is not permanent. Neither is success. They come to teach us lessons and then move on. Nothing belongs to us forever, not even our breath. But when we forget this truth, we suffer. When something painful happens, a loss, a breakup, a financial struggle, a betrayal, a failure, we feel like life has ended. We collapse, we panic, we drown in sorrow. We think the pain will stay forever. But look back. How many storms have you already survived? How many times have you thought, I will never make it through this? And yet here you are, still breathing, still fighting, still rising. The pain that once felt unstoppable eventually faded. The darkness that once felt endless eventually turned into light. If those storms passed, this one will too. And on the other side, look at success. When life treats us well, when we achieve something big, when people praise us, when we win, when we feel powerful, our ego grows. We start thinking we are invincible, that nothing can go wrong. But the universe humbles us, because success is also not permanent.
Fortune can change in a moment. The same people who clap today may criticize tomorrow. The job you depend on may disappear. The comfort you enjoy may be taken away. Nothing stays. And that is why arrogance is foolishness. The Gita teaches that true strength is not measured by how high you rise, but how balanced you remain during rise and fall. Anyone can smile when life is easy. Anyone can speak about faith when everything is comfortable. Real strength appears when everything falls apart, and you still stand strong, believing in yourself, believing in God, believing in the process, believing that this moment is temporary and a new dawn will come. Think of a river. The water flows continuously. If you try to hold the water in your hands, it slips away. Life is the same. When we try to freeze time, we suffer. When we flow with time, we evolve. The mind breaks not because life is hard, but because we resist change. We cling to what is gone instead of preparing for what is coming. But the universe rewards those who accept change with grace, who adapt, who learn, who grow. Every difficulty you face is shaping you into someone stronger. Every heartbreak taught you something about love. Every betrayal taught you the value of trust. Every failure taught you resilience. Every loss taught you gratitude. Without pain, you would never grow. Without change, you would never transform. A seed must crack to become a tree. A caterpillar must dissolve to become a butterfly. Fire must melt gold to make it pure. Transformation is never comfortable. So, when change hurts, don't ask, why me? Ask, what is this teaching me? When life pushes you down, remember that it is preparing you to rise higher. When you lose something, trust that something better is on its way. No night lasts forever, no winter lasts forever, and no pain lasts forever. The sunrise always comes. The Gita reminds us that the soul is eternal, but everything material is temporary. Your real identity is not your body, your bank balance, your job, your status, or your social image. These things change, but the soul remains pure, untouched, peaceful, and eternal. When you understand that, the storms of life cannot shake you, because you know that nothing external can destroy your inner truth. We must learn to let go with love, with acceptance, with grace. Let go of the past. Let go of regret. Let go of fear. Let go of the idea that everything must happen the way we want. Life is not meant to be controlled. It is meant to be lived. What is meant to stay will stay. What is meant to leave will leave. And what is meant for you will arrive in the right time. Staying balanced does not mean you never feel pain. It means you do not let pain control you. It means you trust life even when it hurts. It means you keep walking even when the path is dark. It means you choose hope over fear. And in that balance lies real power, inner power that no external force can break. So remember this truth deeply. Change is the law of the universe. Everything you are experiencing right now, whether joy or sorrow, success or failure, is temporary. Do not lose yourself in temporary moments. Do not break when life shakes you. Do not become arrogant when life praises you. Stand still, stay centered, remain balanced, because storms will come and go. People will come and go. Success and failure will come and go. But the person who learns to remain steady in every situation becomes unshakable. And that person becomes truly free.
Among the most profound truths revealed in the Bhagavad Gita is the understanding that the soul is eternal. Krishna reminds Arjuna that we are not merely bodies made of flesh, bones, and blood. We are not just identities created by society. We are not defined by our physical appearance, our titles, or our temporary experiences. We are eternal consciousness, pure, indestructible, immortal energy. The body lives for a short while and then dies, but the soul continues its journey without beginning and without end. Bodies change. Childhood becomes youth. Youth becomes adulthood. And eventually, the body grows old and falls away. But throughout all these transformations, the inner witness, the one who sees, feels, experiences, and remains aware, never changes. When you look back at your old photographs, you see a different body, a different face, a different version of you. But the consciousness that recognized itself in every phase is the same. That unchanging presence is the soul. Krishna explains that death is not the end. It is simply a change of clothing. Just like we remove old garments and wear new ones, the soul sheds a worn-out body and takes a new form to continue its journey of learning and growth. Birth is not the beginning. Death is not the end. They are only transitions. When we deeply understand this truth, the fear of death disappears because the soul never dies. The body may fall, but the consciousness continues eternally. Think of a person who sleeps and wakes up from a dream. In the dream, they had a different identity, different surroundings, different emotions. But when they woke up, they realized the dream world was temporary. Life works the same way. This physical world is temporary, but the soul experiencing it is real and permanent. What we call death is simply waking up from one dream and entering another. Krishna tells Arjuna, the soul is never born and never dies. It is eternal and indestructible. Weapons cannot cut it. Fire cannot burn it. Water cannot wet it. Wind cannot dry it. Nothing in the physical world can touch the soul. No external force, no disaster, no tragedy can destroy who we truly are. Our real essence is beyond harm. Yet most of us spend our lives protecting the body, polishing the image, chasing validation, running from the shadow of death, forgetting that the soul needs no protection. Much of human suffering comes from our attachment to the temporary. We fear losing people because we believe relationships end with death. We fear losing status because we think our value is tied to what others think. We fear failure because we believe it defines us. We fear time because we know the body is aging. We live in anxiety because we cling to what we cannot keep. But when we understand that the soul is eternal, something incredible happens. All fear melts away. When we know that the soul cannot die, we stop mourning life as a tragedy. We start seeing life as a sacred journey. We begin to understand that every person we meet is a soul temporarily wearing a physical form. Every relationship is a spiritual connection, even if brief. Every challenge is a lesson assigned to us to help our soul evolve. Every loss is transformation, not destruction. Nothing is truly lost. Everything simply changes shape. Think of a loved one who has passed away. The pain feels unbearable because we think they are gone forever. But the Gita teaches us they are not gone. They have simply moved ahead in the journey of existence. They have changed form, but not essence. The soul is untouched. They are still alive, just not in the body your eyes can see. If you close your eyes and listen, you will feel them in your heart. Love does not disappear. Souls do not separate. Connection is eternal. When we realize we are eternal beings, life becomes deeper, calmer, and more meaningful. We stop rushing, we stop competing blindly, we stop comparing, we stop trying to prove ourselves. Instead, we begin to prioritize inner growth, character, compassion, wisdom, and peace, because those are the things the soul carries beyond death. Success, status, fame, and wealth stay behind.
but kindness, love, integrity, and learning travel with us forever. So ask yourself, if death cannot touch your true self, what is there to fear? Why waste life worrying about what people think? Why destroy your peace trying to control everything? Why carry guilt and regret when the soul is always evolving? Why fear starting again when life itself is a cycle of beginnings and endings? Krishna teaches Arjuna not to grieve excessively, not because loss is easy, but because nothing and no one is ever truly lost. We meet again and again in different forms, in different places, in different lives. The soul remembers what the mind forgets. When the time is right, life reconnects what is meant to be. And when we understand this eternal nature of the soul, judgment also disappears. We stop judging ourselves harshly. We stop judging others. We realize everyone is on a journey at their own pace, learning lessons they need to learn, fighting battles we cannot see. Compassion grows, patience grows, forgiveness becomes natural, ego dissolves. Because when you see everyone as an eternal soul, you cannot hate, you can only love. This knowledge brings freedom, freedom from fear, from insecurity, from stress, from attachment, from sorrow. We begin to live fully, deeply, honestly. We start appreciating every moment, every breath, every relationship, every sunrise, every heartbeat as a divine gift. We realize that life is temporary, so we choose to live it beautifully. We realize the soul is eternal, so we choose to live it wisely. So remember, you are not a body with a soul, you are a soul using a body. The body will one day return to the earth from which it came, but you, your consciousness, your light, your essence, will continue forever. Do not be afraid of death. Do not grieve the temporary. Do not cling to what must change. Embrace life without fear and embrace death without sadness. Because the soul that you truly are has never been born, will never die, and will live forever. And when you understand that, nothing in this world can shake you.
One of the deepest teachings Krishna gives in the Bhagavad Gita is the call to live with purpose. He tells Arjuna that life without a mission, without direction, without meaning, becomes a burden. Life without purpose is suffering. A person who does not know why they wake up in the morning, who has no goal to strive for, who has no vision to pursue, slowly loses energy, hope, and enthusiasm. Life becomes mechanical. Days pass, but nothing changes inside. That is not living. That is merely existing. Krishna teaches that every soul is born with a unique purpose, a duty, a calling, something meaningful that only they can fulfill. It may not always be easy, it may not always be comfortable, it may even require sacrifice, discipline, and courage, but that purpose is what gives life power. Purpose is what turns ordinary people into extraordinary examples. Purpose is what turns suffering into strength and failures into stepping stones. Without it, life becomes empty and directionless. Look at the world around you. People chase temporary pleasures, comfort, entertainment, distraction, validation, and instant gratification. They escape into screens, addictions, and laziness to avoid facing the emptiness within. They are alive, but not truly living. They are breathing, but they are not growing. They might look happy on the outside, but inside they feel lost. Why? Because comfort without purpose is a slow poison. It kills dreams gently, silently, day by day. Krishna teaches Arjuna to rise above excuses, above fear, above weakness, and to live for something greater than himself.
He did not ask Arjuna to fight for ego or pride or revenge. He asked him to fight for Dharma, for truth, for justice, for righteousness. He teaches that real purpose is always connected to service. It is not about how much we take, but how much we give. It is not about how big we become, but how many lives we lift along the way. A purposeful life adds value to the world. Ask yourself, what am I living for? What is the mission that gives meaning to my existence? What contribution will I leave behind? If I died today, what would remain after me? These questions awaken the soul. They remove the fog of confusion. They force us to see life beyond survival, beyond routine, beyond comfort. Without purpose, we become stuck in cycles: eat, sleep, work, repeat. But with purpose, every day becomes a step forward, a new chapter, a movement towards something bigger. Krishna says that greatness isn't born from luck. Greatness is born from discipline and purpose. Luck may give opportunities, but discipline turns them into success. Talent may open the door, but persistence keeps it open. Motivation may start the journey, but purpose is what keeps you moving when motivation fades. Every great leader, every visionary, every successful soul became who they are, not because life was easy, but because they refused to give up when life was difficult. Purpose turns struggle into fuel. Purpose turns pain into power. Purpose turns obstacles into transformation. When you have a mission, every setback becomes a lesson, not a defeat. Every challenge becomes growth, not suffering. Purpose gives strength to continue when everything seems impossible. Without purpose, even the smallest problem feels heavy. With purpose, even the biggest storm can be faced with courage. Think about the times when you felt most alive, not relaxed, not comfortable, but alive. They were moments when you were working towards something meaningful, something challenging, something that demanded the best version of you. That is the fire of purpose. That fire is what Krishna wants to awaken in every soul. Living with purpose does not always mean grand achievements. Purpose can be found in small acts done with love and sincerity. A teacher inspiring students, a parent raising children with values, a doctor healing lives, an artist creating beauty, a worker doing honest labor, a friend supporting someone in pain. Purpose is not measured by the size of the action, but by the depth of intention. The world changes not only through big revolutions, but through millions of small, meaningful actions. The tragedy of life is not death. The real tragedy is living without ever discovering why you were born. Many people die without using even a fraction of their potential because fear stopped them. Fear of what people will say, fear of failing, fear of leaving comfort, fear of starting late, fear of trying something different, fear of dreaming big. But Krishna teaches us, do not let fear set the limits of your life. If you have a dream inside you, it is there for a reason. The universe does not place desire in your heart without also placing the strength to fulfill it. Your purpose is calling you every day through your passions, your talents, your curiosity, your pain, your struggles, your intuition. When you ignore that call, you suffer. When you follow it, you are set free. So live boldly, live courageously, choose growth over comfort, choose meaning over pleasure, choose responsibility over excuses, choose action over hesitation, choose purpose over survival. Because the day you dedicate yourself to a mission greater than your fears is the day you become unstoppable. Purpose is not found overnight.
It is discovered through journey, reflection, failure, learning, and experience. Start where you are. Use what you have. Do what you can. The path will reveal itself as you walk. The light will appear as you move forward. All you need is the courage to begin and the discipline to continue. So remember this truth. Life without purpose is suffering, and life with purpose is victory. Rise above comfort. Rise above excuses. Rise above doubt. Live for something greater. Serve something beyond yourself, because the world does not remember those who played safe. The world remembers those who lived with purpose. Greatness is not an accident. Greatness is a choice. Greatness is built through discipline, dedication, passion, and persistence. Greatness is born from purpose. Live with purpose, and you will never feel lost again. Live with purpose, and you will never fear life again. Live with purpose, and you will never fear death again.
If these teachings from the Bhagavad Gita touched your heart, then don't let them remain only words. Wisdom is useless without action. Listening may inspire you for a moment, but living these lessons will transform your entire life. Krishna reminds us that knowledge becomes power only when we apply it. So today, make a decision. Not tomorrow, not someday, but now. Choose one lesson from the Gita that resonated with you the most. Maybe you need to control your mind. Maybe you need to detach from results. Maybe you need to accept change. Maybe you need to remember that the soul is eternal. Maybe you need to live with purpose. Take that one principle and practice it fully for the next 7 days. When fear comes, remind yourself of Krishna's words. When stress rises, remember your inner strength. When life shakes you, stand balanced. When confusion appears, breathe and trust. When you doubt yourself, remember you are a soul, eternal, powerful, unbreakable. Transformation does not happen in a single day. It begins with one step, one change in thought, one shift in mindset, one moment of courage. If you take that step today, your thinking will evolve, your energy will shift, your life will begin to move in a new direction. So don't just listen, live it, apply it, become it. Because when the teachings of the Gita move from your mind to your actions, your mindset will change, your destiny will change, and your entire life will change.
The Bhagavad Gita is not just a book. It is a mirror, showing you who you truly are. A warrior, not a victim. A creator, not a follower. A soul, not a body. It reveals the power already inside you, waiting to be awakened. When life tests you, remember that strength is already within. When fear whispers that you are weak, remember that you were born to rise. When the world tries to break you, remember that the soul can never be broken. Keep learning, keep evolving, keep rising. Do not stop when life becomes hard. Do not surrender to doubt. Walk your path with courage, clarity, and faith. Because peace does not come from outside. It begins within. When your mind is steady, your heart is fearless, and your soul is awakened, no force in the world can shake you. So carry this wisdom with you. Live with purpose. Live with strength. Live like the warrior you were created to be. Real peace begins within, and your journey has just begun.